The Baltic MR01 costs $650. Hidden inside it is a piece of watchmaking that normally starts around $5,000, in territory owned by names like Vacheron Constantin and Piaget. And it is not even the one on this list I would tell you to buy first. Your first mechanical watch is not a purchase, it is a threshold. The moment you stop wearing something that only tells the time and start owning something with a heartbeat, you wind or wear back to life. 5 watches that make that crossing worth every dollar. We start at $350. Number 1. The Citizen Tsuyosa. Its job is the simplest on this list and the most important. This is the watch that answers a single question before you spend real money. Do you actually like mechanical watches, or do you just like the idea of them? For $350, you get a genuine automatic movement, the caliber 8210, wound by the motion of your own wrist, under a sapphire crystal in a 40mm steel case with an integrated bracelet that looks far more expensive than it is. And here's the detail almost everyone misses. Citizen is a company most people file under solar-powered quartz, the eco-drive stuff you never wind and never think about. But Citizen also owns Miyota, and Miyota movements sit inside a huge chunk of the microbrand watches selling for 3 and 4 times this price. The beating heart of your $350 Citizen belongs to the same family powering watches people brag about paying $1,000 for. You will not regret the Tsuyosa, because it takes the risk out of the decision. If you fall for the sweep of that second hand and the weight of the rotor spinning on your wrist, you have found your hobby for the next 20 years. If you decide mechanical watches are not for you, you are out $350, not $3,000. There is no cheaper way to run that experiment, and no more honest one. What most people get wrong here is treating the Tsuyosa as a flex. They buy it because that integrated bracelet gives off a luxury sports watch silhouette, and wear it hoping people think it costs 10 times the price. Wear it as the honest test it is, and it never lets you down. Try to pass it off as something it is not, and you will be trading it within a year. Once the mechanical thing clicks, and it usually does, you are going to want one watch that can go everywhere and do everything. Number 2, the Tissot Seastar 1000, starting around $500, and this is the one watch here you could wear for the rest of your life and never feel under-equipped. Its role is the Workhorse, the single do-anything, go-anywhere watch. It is a Swiss-made automatic dive watch, water-resistant to 300 meters, with a screw-down crown, a unidirectional bezel, sapphire crystal, and super luminova that actually glows when you need it. You can swim in it, shower in it, travel with it, wear it to work, and wear it to dinner on the right strap. If someone told you to own one mechanical watch and only one, this is a defensible answer at any price, and it happens to cost around $500. But the specification that matters most is the one nobody prints on the box. Inside the Seastar is the Powermatic 80 movement, and that 80 is the number to remember. 80 hours of power reserve. Take the watch off on Friday night, leave it in a drawer all weekend, pick it up Monday morning, and it is still running, still keeping time, no resetting the date. A typical automatic gives you around 40 hours and quietly dies over a long weekend. This one does not. You will not regret the Seastar because it never becomes the weak link. Plenty of first watches get sold off because the owner outgrows them, because the thing starts to feel flimsy or fashiony 6 months in. The Seastar has genuine dive watch build quality and a Swiss movement with real engineering behind it, so you grow into it rather than out of it. What most people get wrong with the Seastar is buying it for the depth rating. They see 300 meters and picture a future full of scuba diving that is never going to happen. You will never test that number. Buy it for the 80-hour convenience and the Swiss build. And check that you are buying the Powermatic 80 automatic, because there is a quartz Seastar that looks nearly identical and defeats the entire purpose. Now let us break the pattern, because the next watch should not exist at its price. Number 3, the Baltic MR01, at around $650. And this is the watch I teased at the very start, the one hiding a piece of watchmaking you normally only meet at $5,000 and up. Its role is the surprise. Every collection needs one watch that makes people who know watches stop and look twice. And at this budget, almost nothing does that. The MR01 does. It is a 36mm dress watch from a French brand called Baltic, with Breguet-style numerals, an off-center small seconds, a domed crystal, and vintage 1950s proportions. But turn it over, and this is where it stops making sense. Through the caseback, you are looking at a micro rotor. Instead of the usual big winding weight that swings across the whole back of the movement and hides most of it, a micro rotor is a tiny weight tucked down inside the movement itself, so you can see almost the entire mechanism working. It is thinner, more elegant, and genuinely hard to make. The companies that build micro rotors are names like Vacheron Constantin and Piaget. When you find one in an affordable watch, it usually starts around $5,000. Baltic put one in a $650 watch. You will not regret the MR01, because it teaches you what finishing and architecture actually feel like, and why watch people get obsessive about the back of a watch. It punches so far above its price, it recalibrates what you think money buys. What most people get wrong here is the movement snobbery. That micro rotor is made in China by the Hangzhou watch company, and a certain kind of buyer sees that and writes off the whole watch on principle. That is a mistake. Judge the movement by its architecture. Where it was assembled matters far less than what it actually is, and what it is would cost a fortune anywhere else. The other mistake is expecting a daily beater. This is a dress watch, 30 meters of water resistance, and acrylic crystal. Wear it to the wedding, the dinner, the interview. Do not wear it to the gym and then complain that it's scratched. If you are getting real value out of this, take 1 second and subscribe. This channel goes deep on watches like these every week, the honest picks and the traps to sidestep. All right, back to it, because the next watch is the one from the intro that you wind by hand. Number 4, the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical, at around $600, and this is the one you wind by hand. Its role is the ritual. This is the watch that turns owning a mechanical watch into a relationship instead of an accessory. There is no rotor inside, no automatic winding, nothing that tops itself up from the movement of your wrist. Every morning, before you put it on, you turn the crown between your fingers 30 or 40 times, and you feel the mainspring wind up under your thumb. That is the whole ceremony, and it is strangely addictive. The watch is a straight descendant of the field watches Hamilton made for American soldiers. A 38mm steel case, a matte dial, big clean numerals you can read in a glance. Inside is the H50 movement, a Swiss hand-wound caliber with an 80-hour power reserve, which for a watch you wind yourself is almost absurdly generous. Wind it fully and you could skip a couple of days and it would forgive you. You will not regret the Khaki Field because it is the watch that makes the hobby stick. The Citizen tells you whether you like mechanical watches. This one makes you love them. Hand winding is the most direct connection you will ever have to what is actually happening inside the case. And once you have done it for a month, a self-winding watch can start to feel like it is keeping a secret from you. What most people get wrong here is buying the automatic version instead. Hamilton makes a Khaki Field Auto that winds itself, and plenty of first-time buyers pick it because hand winding sounds like an inconvenience. For a first mechanical watch, that is exactly backwards. The winding is the point. The winding is the thing that teaches you what you actually bought. The next mistake is sizing up. There is a 42mm version, and the 38 is the one that wears correctly. And one more thing, this is a field watch, water resistant to 50 meters. It will shrug off rain and hand washing, but it is not a dive watch. Do not swim laps in it. So far, every watch here has been the low-stakes kind. The last one is where the entry-level chapter ends and something more serious begins. Number 5. The Longines Conquest. Starting around $2,200, and this is the watch that closes the beginner chapter and opens the real one. Its role is the graduation. Every watch before this was about finding out whether you love this stuff and doing it cheaply. The Conquest is the first one where you are buying a properly grown-up Swiss watch, the kind that does not need an asterisk next to it. 41mm or 38 if you want it smaller, a sunburst dial, a sapphire crystal front and back, a screw-down crown, and 100 meters of water resistance. It is sporty enough for every day and sharp enough for a suit. But the reason it earns the last spot is inside. The Conquest runs the L888 movement, and this is where Longines quietly out-engineers watches costing several times more. It has a silicon balance spring. In plain terms, the tiny spring at the heart of the movement, the part that has kept time in mechanical watches for centuries, is made from silicon instead of metal, which means magnets do not affect it. Your phone, your laptop, the magnetic clasp on your bag, all the everyday things that wreck a normal mechanical watch's accuracy simply do not touch this one. It also carries a 72-hour power reserve, so it shares that long weekend convenience with the Tissot. You will not regret the Conquest because it is the watch you stop apologizing for. It has the movement technology, the finish, and the presence to sit comfortably next to watches that cost far more. And it does that for around $2,200, which in this world is still the shallow end. What most people get wrong with the Conquest is holding it up against Rolex and Omega and deciding it is not a real luxury watch. That is the wrong frame entirely. What you are paying for is a silicone hairspring and a resistance to magnetism that genuinely outperforms watches at 4 times the price. The badge on the crown has nothing to do with it. The one real trap is the movement history. Longines has updated this caliber over the years without always changing its name, so on the used market you can end up with an older version that lacks the silicone spring and the long reserve. Buy it new, or verify carefully. So that is the 5. And notice what just happened. You did not walk from cheapest to most expensive. You went from a $350 citizen that asks whether you even like this, to a Longines with a silicone hairspring that some collectors will happily wear for the rest of their lives. That is an entire journey compressed into 5 watches, and you can step onto it anywhere your budget allows. The watch you buy first is almost never the watch you love most a decade later, but it is the one that opened the door. So do not agonize over which of these 5 is objectively best. Ask which one is your door, and wear it long enough to find out.